when you grow old, the lazier you are at these 8 things, the happier you are. Aging isn't something to fear. It's a beautiful journey where wisdom, freedom, and contentment become your daily companions. By the time you reach 65 or beyond, life shouldn't feel like a never-ending to-do list. The truth is, the less energy you waste on things that no longer serve your happiness, the more fulfilled you'll become. It's not about being idle or unproductive. It's about being selective with your time and energy, focusing only on what truly matters in this precious chapter of life. Here are 8 things you can absolutely afford to be lazy about, and why doing so will make your golden years truly golden. If you find value in this video, please give a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update that could enhance your life. 1. Keeping up with the latest trends. As the years roll by, one of life's greatest gifts is the wisdom to know what truly matters. Try to keep up with the latest trends, whether in technology, fashion, or entertainment. Can feel like chasing a moving target. But here's the beauty of growing older. You no longer have to chase anything. The truth is, trends are fleeting, and their significance fades when you've lived long enough to see so many come and go. Remember when rotary phones gave way to push buttons? Or when classic cars were replaced by sleek, modern designs? Each era brings its own novelties, and while they may hold interest for a time, they don't define your worth or your happiness. Now is the time to embrace what feels comfortable, familiar, and meaningful to you. Wear the clothes that make you feel confident, even if they don't match the pages of glossy magazines. If you love a well-worn sweater or a pair of shoes that have seen countless adventures, wear them with pride. They carry your story. Surround yourself with the tools and gadgets that make your life easier, not what society says you need to stay current. By stepping away from the rush of trends, you create space to focus on what lasts. That could mean nurturing relationships, enjoying simple pleasures, or deepening your connection with hobbies that bring you joy. Instead of upgrading to the newest phone or downloading every app, you might spend that time writing a letter to a grandchild, reading a book that touches your soul, or gazing at a sunset without distraction. Trends, by their very nature, are designed to make you feel like you're missing something. But you aren't. In fact, you have everything you need. The wisdom to prioritize experiences over appearances, and the freedom to make choices that reflect your unique journey. The gift of aging is realizing that authenticity is far more valuable than conformity, and the happiness you seek is already within you, waiting to be cherished. 2. Maintaining a perfectly clean home. For much of your life, keeping a clean and tidy home may have been a priority, a source of pride, or even an expectation placed upon you. It was a way to create order in a chaotic world, to show care for your family, and to present yourself to guests as someone who had it all together. But as you grow older, the relationship you have with your home can and should shift. A home isn't meant to be a museum, and life isn't meant to be spent dusting, scrubbing, and chasing perfection. Your home is a sanctuary, a place where memories are built and cherished, not a showcase for spotless floors or perfectly arranged furniture. The scuff marks on the walls? They might remind you of a time when children or grandchildren raced down the hallway. The slightly worn couch? It's a spot where you've shared countless cups of coffee, quiet evenings, and laughter with loved ones. Letting go of the pressure to maintain a spotless home doesn't mean giving up on care or comfort. It means focusing on what truly matters. Prioritize what keeps you safe and happy. Clear clutter to prevent tripping. Keep the kitchen functional for the meals you enjoy, and maintain a space where you can relax without stress. But if a bit of dust gathers or the windows don't sparkle, remind yourself that life isn't lived in the cleaning. It's lived in the living. If maintaining your home has become physically taxing, consider enlisting help. This is not a sign of weakness, but a wise acknowledgement of where to direct your energy. Whether it's hiring someone to assist with heavy tasks or asking family members to pitch in, your time is better spent creating a moment of connection than wrestling with a vacuum cleaner. Most importantly, give yourself permission to redefine what a clean home means to you. Perhaps it's one where a favorite book rests on the coffee table, where the kitchen holds the warm aroma of a simple meal, or where family photos and keepsakes are scattered with love. A home is not a reflection of how well you can dust. It's a reflection of the life you've built and the memories you continue to make. When you allow yourself to let go of the pursuit of a perfect home, you create space to enjoy the imperfect beauty of life itself. There's no need to impress anyone anymore. Your home is yours, and it's perfect simply because it holds you and your story. 3. Cooking elaborate meals. For years, the kitchen may have been your domain, a place where you expressed love, nurtured your family, and built traditions. The clatter of pots, the smell of freshly baked bread, the warmth of a meal shared at the table. These were symbols of care and connection. But as you grow older, the need to prepare elaborate, time-consuming meals begins to fade. And that's okay. Life, like cooking, can be simplified without losing its flavor. Cooking doesn't have to feel like a chore. In fact, it can evolve into something more intimate and joyful when you allow yourself to embrace ease. A simple bowl of soup can bring as much comfort as a lavish dinner spread. A plate of fresh fruit or a warm cup of tea shared with a loved one can carry as much meaning as a grand feast. The essence of a meal isn't in its complexity. It's in the love and intention behind it. Letting go of the pressure to cook elaborate meals also creates space for creativity and relaxation. You might find joy in exploring simpler recipes, experimenting with new ingredients, or even revisiting nostalgic flavors from your childhood. A small garden salad made with vegetables you've grown yourself, or a quick pasta dish paired with favorite wine, can feel just as satisfying as a meal that took hours to prepare. And if some days you don't feel like cooking at all, that's perfectly fine too. There's no shame in relying on ready-made meals, ordering takeout, or dining out with friends. These choices don't diminish your care or effort. They simply reflect your understanding of what you need in the moment. Most importantly, cooking in your later years can become less about obligation and more about savoring the experience. It's not about impressing anyone or fulfilling expectations. It's about nourishing yourself in body and spirit. Sit by the window as your tea rests. Let the aroma of freshly baked bread fill the air, or share a quiet laugh over a meal with someone dear to you. These small, unhurried moments are where the true richness of life lies. Remember, the most memorable meals aren't always the ones that are elaborate. They're the ones shared with laughter, seasoned with love, and enjoyed with gratitude. By simplifying your approach to cooking, you open yourself to the deeper joys of simply being. One bite, one meal, one beautiful moment at a time. 4. Saying yes to everything. Throughout much of life, you may have felt the pull to say yes to nearly every request, invitation, or opportunity. Perhaps it was out of duty, politeness, or the desire to meet expectations. But as you grow older, you gain the clarity to realize that saying yes to everything often means saying no to yourself. Now is the time to choose your commitments carefully and invest your energy where it truly matters. Life is no longer about proving anything to anyone. You've earned the right to prioritize your own well-being, your own desires, and your own peace. This doesn't mean withdrawing from the world. It means engaging with it on your own terms. It's not selfish, it's wise. By honoring your own needs, you preserve your energy for the people and activities that bring you joy. When you say no to something, you're not rejecting others. You're simply setting boundaries that reflect your values in your current stage of life. Perhaps it's an event that feels more like an obligation than a joy, or a task that would take more energy than it's worth. Declining these isn't a loss. It's a gain of time to spend on what truly enriches your life. Saying no also creates room for the beauty of spontaneity. When your schedule isn't overpacked, you can embrace unexpected moments, a surprise phone call from an old friend, an afternoon spent watching the clouds roll by, or an unplanned walk in the garden. These small, unstructured joys are often the ones that linger in your heart the longest. On the other hand, when you choose to say yes, let it be a wholehearted decision. Say yes to the things that make your spirit soar, a family gathering that fills a house with laughter, a new hobby that sparks curiosity, or a quiet cup of coffee shared with someone dear. When you say yes to what truly matters, you're not just spending your time, you're enriching it. Your time, energy, and presence are precious gifts. Use them wisely. And remember, you don't need to be everything to everyone. The freedom to say no is one of the greatest privileges of growing older. It allows you to step into a life that feels authentic, balanced, and meaningful. Ultimately, the choices you make in your later years should reflect the life you want to live, not the life others expect of you. By saying yes to what matters most and no to what doesn't, you give yourself the gift of time, peace, and happiness. That's the kind of abundance that truly makes these years golden. 5. Worrying about what others think. As the years pass, one of life's most liberating lessons becomes clear. The opinions of others don't define you. When you're young, it's easy to get caught up in how people perceive you, what you wear, how you speak, the choices you make. But with age comes wisdom. And with wisdom comes a realization that what truly matters is how you feel about yourself. In your younger years, you may have worked tirelessly to meet expectations, often sacrificing your own comfort or happiness in the process. But now, as you step into the richness of later life, there's freedom in letting go of that invisible weight. The beauty of aging is that you've earned the right to prioritize authenticity over approval. You no longer need to measure your worth by the standards of others. Instead, you can define it by the values and experiences that resonate with your heart. Imagine the peace that comes from stepping out of the spotlight of judgment and living fully in your own truth. This might mean dressing in a way that feels comfortable and uniquely you, regardless of what's fashionable. It could mean pursuing hobbies or interests that others don't understand, but that bring you immense joy. It might even mean saying something you've long held back, simply because it feels right to speak your mind. Releasing the fear of judgment also opens a door to vulnerability, which is where genuine connections are born. When you let others see you for who you truly are, flaws, quirks, and all, you invite them to do the same. In this way, letting go of worry about others' opinions doesn't distance you from people. It brings you closer to the ones who matter most. Of course, letting go of this worry doesn't happen overnight. Years of habit can't simply be erased. But every time you choose to prioritize your own happiness over the opinions of others, you take a step toward greater freedom. Whether it's skipping an event you don't enjoy or embracing a new passion that makes you feel alive, these small acts of courage build a life that is unapologetically yours. The truth is, most people are far more focused on their own lives than they are on yours. And those who truly care about you won't judge you. They'll celebrate you. They'll value your authenticity and admire your courage to live life on your own terms. At this stage in life, you have nothing to prove and no one to impress. You are the author of your own story, and the only critic who matters is you. By letting go of the need to worry about others' thoughts, you reclaim your time, your energy, and your joy. That's the kind of freedom that makes every moment sweeter and every decision lighter. After all, your happiness is too precious to be shaped by anyone but you. 6. Keeping a packed schedule. For much of life, a full calendar has been a badge of honor, a sign of productivity and purpose. There were meetings to attend, appointments to keep, and countless commitments demanding your attention. But as you grow older, the pace of life naturally shifts, and the beauty of this chapter lies in permission to slow down and savor each moment. A packed schedule is no longer a measure of your worth or vitality. In fact, the greatest gift you can give yourself now is the freedom to leave room for stillness, spontaneity, and unstructured time. Life becomes richer when it's not lived in a rush, but in a rhythm that feels natural and nourishing. Imagine a day without an endless checklist, where you wake up without a clock dictating your every move. You might linger over your morning coffee, letting its warmth ease you into the day. Perhaps you'll take a leisurely walk, noticing the birds, the gentle rustle of leaves, or the way the sunlight dances through the trees. These quiet moments, free from a tyranny of schedules, are where life unfolds in its simplest and most profound beauty. Letting go of a packed schedule doesn't mean withdrawing from life. It means choosing how to fill your time with intention. Say yes to the things that truly light you up. A visit with a friend, a new hobby, or a day spent with family. And say no to anything that feels more like an obligation than a joy. Your time is your own, and it's far too precious to be spent on anything that doesn't enrich your spirit. There's also magic in leaving space for the unexpected. When your calendar isn't overflowing, you have the freedom to embrace life's little surprises. A spontaneous phone call from a loved one, an afternoon nap that rejuvenates your soul, or an unplanned outing to explore a nearby park can bring a sense of wonder that no carefully planned schedule ever could. In stepping away from busyness, you also create room for reflection and gratitude. Time slows, and you begin to notice the things that were once overlooked. The sound of laughter echoing through your home, the softness of a favorite blanket, or the way a beloved song stirs your heart. These moments, unremarkable at first glance, are the threads that weave together a life well lived. You've spent years managing schedules, meeting deadlines, and striving to keep up. Now is the time to embrace a life that flows, rather than one that's tightly choreographed. Trust that in the spaces you leave unfilled, you'll find the most meaningful experiences, the ones that remind you the joy of simply being. Your golden years are not about racing against time, but about walking hand in hand with it, savoring every step. By letting go of the need to keep a packed schedule, you open the door to a life filled with ease, wonder, and deep contentment. And in that space, happiness finds you effortlessly. 7. Holding grudges. As the years go by, the weight of grudges can feel heavier than ever. The resentment, anger, or disappointment we hold on to may have roots in moments long past, yet they continue to cast shadows over our present. But here's a profound truth. Letting go of grudges isn't just an act of forgiveness for others. It's an act of liberation for yourself. Life is too fleeting and precious to carry the burden of old wounds. Each day you spend replaying a hurtful memory or clinging to resentment is a day you sacrifice the peace and joy you deserve. The person who hurt you may not even be aware of the grudge you carry, but its impact reverberates in your heart and your mind and your health. Releasing a grudge doesn't mean excusing the wrong or pretending it didn't matter. Instead, it's about reclaiming your power and choosing not to let the pain define you. It's an acknowledgement that while you can't change the past, you can shape your present and future by refusing to let bitterness take up residence in your soul. Forgiveness is not always easy, and it's rarely instantaneous. It might require time, reflection, and even a little grace toward yourself as you navigate the complex emotions involved. But with each step you take toward forgiveness, you lighten the load you carry. You create space in your heart for peace, love, and the beauty of the life that's unfolding before you. Sometimes forgiveness may include reaching out to mend a broken relationship. A conversation, a handwritten letter, or a small gesture of kindness can open doors to healing. Other times, forgiveness is a quiet, private act, a decision to let go internally, even if reconciliation isn't possible. Both forms are equally powerful because they free you from the chains of anger and hurt. Letting go of grudges also teaches us about the imperfection of being human. None of us goes through life unscathed by mistakes, our own or those of others. In releasing judgment of others, we often find it easier to extend the same compassion to ourselves. And in doing so, we open the door to deeper relationships, built on understanding rather than resentment. When you let go of a grudge, you make room for joy to flow back into your life. Imagine the lightness of heart that comes from no longer holding on to bitterness, the peace of mind that replaces turmoil, and emotional energy that becomes available for the people and experiences that truly matter. You've already traveled a long road in life, filled with challenges, triumphs, and growth. Don't let the weight of old grudges keep you from fully enjoying the journey ahead. By letting go, you not only set others free, you set yourself free. And that freedom is a key to living your later years with a heart unburdened and a spirit filled with contentment. 8. Chasing perfection. For much of life, you may have felt the invisible pull of perfection. The idea that success, happiness, or even self-worth could only be found in getting everything just right. Whether it was striving for the perfect appearance, maintaining an immaculate home, or living up to the expectations of others, the pursuit of perfection often felt endless. But as you grow older, the beauty of imperfection becomes clear, and with it comes a profound sense of freedom. Perfection, as it turns out, was never the goal. It was an illusion. Life is messy, unpredictable, and full of beautiful imperfections that give it depth and meaning. The wrinkles on your hands, the graying of your hair, the quirks of a well-loved home. These are not flaws to be hidden. They are the evidence of a life well lived, a testament to your journey, and a reminder of the wisdom and strength you've gained along the way. Imagine the joy that comes from releasing yourself from the exhausting pursuit of better, in embracing the beauty of enough. Your garden doesn't need to bloom with flawless flowers to be a sanctuary. The crooked blooms and resilient weeds tell their own story of nature's resilience. Your hobbies don't need to produce masterpieces to bring you joy, whether it's knitting with a few missed stitches or painting with colors that don't quite stay in the lines. The act of creating is what nourishes your soul. Letting go of perfection also deepens your relationships. No one needs you to be flawless. They need you to be present, authentic, and real. When you allow others to see you as you are, it gives them permission to do the same. In this way, imperfection becomes a bridge to deeper connection and understanding. This doesn't mean giving up on care or effort. It means shifting your focus from unattainable ideals to the richness of reality. A meal doesn't need to be gourmet to nourish. A home doesn't need to be spotless to feel warm and inviting. A life doesn't need to be perfect to be profoundly beautiful. By embracing imperfection, you also give yourself the gift of peace. You no longer need to judge yourself by impossible standards or measure your worth by what you produce or achieve. Instead, you can rest in the knowledge that who you are right now is enough. The lines on your face are not signs of age, but of wisdom. The moments you cherish don't need to be polished or planned. They simply need to be lived. At this stage in life, chasing perfection is not only unnecessary, it's counterproductive. The most meaningful experiences often come from the imperfect moments. The laughter that follows a mistake, the beauty of an unplanned detour, the quiet contentment of accepting things as they are. When you stop chasing perfection, you make room for gratitude, joy, and contentment. You discover that the life you have is not just good enough. It's extraordinary in its own imperfect way. And in that discovery, you find the kind of happiness that no flawless achievement could ever provide. Conclusion: embracing the freedom of letting go. As the sun sets on the busyness and striving of earlier years, it illuminates a profound truth. The key to happiness in your later years isn't found in doing more, proving more, or being more. It's found in the gentle act of letting go. Letting go of perfection, of past grievances, of unnecessary burdens, and the relentless need to meet the world's expectations. What remains is the essence of who you are, unencumbered and free. This stage of life is not about adding to your days, but deepening them. It's about savoring the simple moments that once slipped by unnoticed, the warmth of sunlight on your face, the sound of laughter echoing in your home, the peace of a quiet evening spent with your thoughts. It's about recognizing that the imperfections, the pauses, and even the losses are what give life its texture and meaning. True happiness in your later years comes from embracing the life you've lived, its joys, its lessons, its scars, and finding contentment in the person you become. It's about focusing not on what you haven't done, but on the beauty of all that you have accomplished, all the love you've shared, and the legacy of wisdom and kindness you leave behind. So, as you move forward, remember that the less you carry, the farther and lighter you can go. Let yourself be lazy to things that no longer serve you, and in doing so, open yourself to profound joy of simply being. Here's a simpler, more concise outro. These years aren't about slowing down. They're about focusing on what truly matters: love, connection, and peace. True happiness comes not from doing more, but from choosing what deserves your energy. I hope these ideas help you embrace this special time of life with joy. What's one tip from today that you'll apply in your own life? I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, comment with a 1. If not, feel free to leave a 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this.